Hi, I'm Brett. Today we've got an update on an 09 Forester XT, and the car sitting beside me has been recently purchased by a new owner. He's brought it up for us to have a really good look at it and do some other mechanical improvements to the suspension, but he's asked us to have a really good look at the engine and drivetrain and the tune and the previous mods on this car because he's a little bit unsure about its history. And what we've managed to work out that the car has, to our knowledge, possibly had an engine rebuild due to the condition of some of the parts have been replaced. But more importantly, our concern is what caused the need of the engine rebuild in the past and the modifications that have been done since. Now, the dead giveaway, what concerns us is we know at some stage in the past the car has been recently serviced prior to him buying it, and the auxiliary drive belts, you can see here, there's barely less than half of the belt left on the alternator belt. And if you look at the air conditioning belt, it's also very, very badly damaged, and a third of it has been eroded and needs to be replaced. So that is a dead giveaway from a telltale sign that concerns us that we should possibly have a little bit of a closer look at the car. You can see it's got a modified silicon intake and a modified air intake. It's got a modified catch can, which has been fitted with a combination of different components. Not necessarily anything wrong, but it's got the original boost control solenoid still sitting in place that has been electronically and mechanically disconnected. And down the bottom here, someone has now put a aftermarket boost controller, which we would then assume has got a matching tune. But then when we look a little bit closer, we have a look down here and we have a check what type of turbo is fitted, and we notice that the red silicon intake has actually come away from the nose of the aluminium part of the turbo. So what you can see there is the hose clamp around the red silicon part, nowhere near the actual part of the intake to the turbo. And if I pull this enough, you'll actually could see a gap in the air intake between the silicon hose and the turbo. And that really worries us because that's a HKS turbo with a modified silicon intake. And our concern is quite possibly that's the root cause of the problem that may have caused the engine to need to be rebuilt in the past, because when that hose pops off, the engine sucks unmetered air into the engine. The ECU only measures it based on the airflow meter sensor here, which by the way is actually rubbing against the modified air intake here, which could cause the damage to the wiring, but that's a separate issue. So the engine ECU works on the theory the air going into the engine only goes past the airflow meter sensor, measures that and adds an appropriate amount of fuel. But if it also sucks air somewhere else after that, before the combustion process, that is unmetered air, which then causes the engine to run lean and can cause catastrophic engine damage. Now, we can't say conclusively that this is the root cause of the problem, but what does worry us is if that's the root cause of the engine damage, or if it's been tuned without a tuner realizing that their intake has popped off and is sucking unmetered air, and the tune may be not correct as well, because we go to fix that and then we have to check the tune appropriately at the same time. So what I wanted to talk about in this video is the important part of when you're using aftermarket parts, make sure that they fit correctly, they are matched together, because this is a common problem with these hoses. If they slip forward in the intake, because they are quite a tight fit, and if you can see here, when you're trying to fit this larger silicon intake, the tendency is for it to slide backwards because of the restriction of the underside of the plastic inlet manifold, and where it can slip off the nose of the turbo, and it is then not that easy to see. So there you have it, one of the tips and traps of some of the things on these engines. When you're fitting aftermarket parts, always check the hose connections on the intake side to the turbo to make sure you've got a reliable settings for your ECU to rely on to give you a reliable engine. For more information, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Instagram. Check out our website, and I hope this video has helped you. Subscribe to our channel here and share it and make some comments. We'd love to hear from you. But for now, my name's Brett Middleton. Thanks for watching.